Hey, watch it, man. Get bent.
Nah, bro, you get bent. I'll bend your face.
Bro, I'll bend you sideways.
I'm gonna break you in half and see what's on the inside. Then I'll bend your root.
Wait, what are we talking about? There are a couple different codes and standards in the industry, and we're going to go over a couple today. We're going to go over the D11 kind of unlimited thickness test, as well as the API 1104 kind of standard with the bell hole and the branch.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of different standards for each one of these tests. You got your D11 Unlimited. It has its own criteria. We're going to do side bends on that, see how everything is. If it cracks, if it's got defects, we're going to go over the API 1104. How many straps get cut out of that 12-inch? Looks like there's 12 straps that get cut out of that 12-inch. Nick brakes, root bends, and face bends.
Now let's get into it. The nice thing about this Donaldson fume extractor, even though it's the size of a freaking refrigerator and an elephant at the same time, it's actually really easy to move around the shop. So let's go check on everybody. We'll start with our structural guy. Our first student is going to be doing a structural AWS D11 test. He's going to be doing a MIG root uphill dual shield flux core. Now this is an important test. It's done on 1-inch thick plate because it'll qualify the welder for unlimited thicknesses, which is great as far as a job site, be able to go to this to that. Now this is such a thick plate, we can't bend an 1.5 inch wide strap as we would if this was 3/8 plate. But you get it, 3/8 wide, we could still cut a 3/8 wide strip out of the 1-inch plate and kind of get the same deal. But now we get to bend that weld on its side so that we can see a quality weld from root to cap. The root, the cap, the hot pass, the fills, we can see any defects or any discontinuities throughout with a side bend test. This is also common on thick welds on pipes. Your B31.3 pressure piping, you're gonna have that same sort of code. It's gonna call for side bends because the pipe is just so thick and they wanna know that it's good throughout. Oh, fume extraction! Get your fume extraction! Fume extraction! Got a 12-inch pipe, that's gonna be the test number 2. This thing is gonna have a ton of straps pulled out of it. Roots, caps, nick brakes. As far as API 1104 code is concerned, we're gonna be bending a lot of straps out of this simple 5G, or as they call it on the pipeline, the bell hole. Now the branch weld test is gonna be the third test that we're gonna be pulling straps from. We've got a T set up on these 2 pieces of pipe. One pipe is saddled to fit the other. We're gonna be taking a strap out of the ear and out of the throat. Now each one of these straps is gonna be a nick brake test. So we're gonna have one out of the ear here, here, and then one out of the throat on either side as well. And we'll snap them over sideways and check to see if they're clean. So we got all 3 of our coupons here. I'm super wore out from watching your students weld. So we more or less laid them out about where they go. I wouldn't say that this is up to code, but the codes we're replicating are AWS's D11 and API's 1104. As far as laying out differences and qualifications, what does a welder get?
So what we're gonna do is that 1-inch plate right there, D11 structural. If they pass that, we're gonna do some side bends on it. It's gonna qualify them for unlimited thicknesses. And then with this API 1104, we're gonna take 12 straps from here, 4 nick brakes, 4 roots, 4 caps, and then we're gonna take 4 nick brakes from here, see how they all do.
Yeah, and it's wild how the codes are even different. I mean, we've only got 2 straps. They're 3/8 wide, 1 inch thick, and we're bending them sideways. We're gonna see root to cap, all the good stuff, right? What any kind of discontinuities or defects that we find. And same thing with the 1104, we've got tons of roots and tons of caps to bend. We also got a lot of nick brakes, and we're basically gonna do a side bend, but sideways, and we're gonna tear it open and see if there's any junk on the inside. But as far as the code differences, API has a lot more tolerance as far as what you can have inside the pipe.
Yeah.
That's just something you guys are gonna have to do a little research on your own. Now remember, these students, this is like their first time welding some of these tests. And you never learn anything from being successful. You always learn better from failure. So hopefully we see a lot of goodies inside these bins. But we're gonna do a lot of torch cutting on this. Now, as far as some stuff that require post-weld heat treatments, you're gonna wanna avoid torch cutting. You might need to use a different type of method like a bandsaw or a grinder. A lot of small pipes, as far as B31.3, you might wanna use a Metabo blade or a cutoff wheel instead of trying to take a torch to it. We're gonna cut this 1-inch plate with a track torch. It's gonna be really easy. And then we're just gonna hand cut just like those field hands do on this pipe and this branch. Now Scott is cutting this a little different than I would. I would cut it in half first. So if you really cake up one side of the pipe with all your torch cut, you get all that dross on the back side of your cut, and then it's harder to cut. But you can't tell this guy anything. Now for everyone that says we're ruining the temper or the heat whenever we're cutting with a torch, as far as this, it's mild steel. As long as we let it normalize, it's gonna be just the same as it was before the torch cut and before the welding. So we're just gonna keep hacking away with this gas axe. We got all of our straps cut and cleaned up. We conned some students into them. We paid them with experience, right?
Paid
them. So we've got all of our root and face bends. We're gonna go ahead and bend those first. Now, depending on the code, there's a different type of shoe that will end up bending it, whether it's all the way around or if it's a little bit of the way around. Anyway, we're gonna be bending them all the same on the same size shoe today. We're gonna start with the face bends and talk about them. We're gonna get to the caps first. Scott's examining them, which one he's gonna bend. Remember, these are all students. This is their first time doing this test. Are you looking for some goodies, Scott? You think we're gonna find any?
Sometimes I look for is there any defects I can visually see? If it is, then it's not gonna really need to go to bend. We're still gonna bend them just to see what's going on. But if they visually fail, they don't even need to be bent.
Let's see.
Yeah, we're good on that one. This one has a tiny little defect, but will it bend and open up past it?
What about that there?
That one is not an acceptable bend.
Yeah, that one's already like opened up to the surface. That's already something we wouldn't even get to the bender.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'd be like that. But
and then also you got to take into account, did the students blend it properly? If they didn't blend it properly, then we need to go back and teach them how to blend it, how to get it properly without taking more metal than is needed.
You've cut them too long. We didn't trim them down. You're bending them. We got a three-way bend on these.
And it still got the horseshoe.
It still got the shoe, huh? All right, we got our caps done. Let's go ahead and bend the root side. So we're just gonna simply flip them over and we're gonna test the root of the weld. These were the face or the caps. I reckon we should have trimmed them.
Yeah, we should have, but they're still bending. They're still bending.
All right, while we talk about these root and cap bends, again, these are so we can test the quality of not only the one side on the root or the one side on the cap. Now, G11 for this unlimited test is a 1-inch plate, and these are cut on their sides. So let's bend these side bends real quick.
They're cut 3/8 inch thick, so we can get a nice side bend. Now, make sure you talk to the QC and ask them if you're able to round the sides. Some want a straight cut, some will allow you to put a little round on that edge. If they allow you, just make sure that you stay within tolerance. I believe it's no more than 1/8 on the side.
Oh. That's the way it's supposed to look when it's bent. All right, let's take a look, Scott, at all these. We got our caps right here, we got our roots right here, and these are the two side bends. We'll look at the two side bends first. Take a good peek at these. Guys, you let us know if these students here passed on their first weld test here. We had two of the side bends. Okay, I see one indication right towards the cap of the weld, like probably a little bit under the cap, right? And we're looking at just under a 1/16 as far as an indication, and there is a bit of slag in there that I can see. Let us know if you think this student passed their D11 side bend.
Yep. Now we go over the API 1104. These are all the cap bends. So I'm gonna go over the two good ones that I see. This one, you can tell that it's nice, rounded. There's no indication, nothing opening up. So this one, in my opinion, would be a pass. But remember, on a bend test, they all have to pass. The next one, pretty solid. Grind marks, I would have rather the grind marks go the other direction, but still doesn't matter on a good bend test. And then now we got the 2 bad ones. This one, you can see that it's opening up. It's not really cracking, but you can see that as it was stretched, it did separate.
How long are those, you think?
Those ones, that one looks like a good 1/4 inch. This one looks right at an 1/8. So we could grab that measure, that ruler.
Yeah, that is close to about a 1/4 inch there.
Yep.
Now let's check out this other one here.
Then we're gonna take that next one.
What do you think of that? Oh my Lanta.
That one has actually cracked open. You can see the slag inside it. It is pretty long as well. That one looks like it is a little bit more than a 1/4 inch. So we're gonna grab that, check that out.
It's pretty long, pretty lengthy, and there's just clear evidence in there on the cap.
And it's starting to open up on the side.
Got a little corner tear.
Yep, so the caps, in my opinion, probably would be a fail.
Let us know.
Now we're gonna go into the root passes. So same thing, just like the other one. I'm gonna show the good ones. So right here, I still wish the grind marks were going lengthways.
We want them to come across. This is gonna help open anything up. Like that little thing could have been almost hidden or not opened at all if we would have taken those grinder marks.
Yep.
It's hard to find good help these days.
Oh yeah, all these little pores and stuff will just start helping that thing open up. You wanna go against it. So that one.
Perpendicular to the weld.
Perpendicular.
Now that's perpendicular.
And
no,
you
it's
see,
not.
yeah, it's a half and half. Yeah, they tried.
They did good. No openings. This is again on our root side.
Yep. And
Clean.
a lot of people ask how you can tell if it's a root or cap if they ground the whole thing in. You have to look at the curvature of that pipe. As you see right here, it kind of drops down. You have to look at that so that you know that you're bending a root or a cap. And then we go into the other 2 that have indications. This one has slight indications right here, but is it within tolerance?
These guys are real tiny. I mean, if you wanted to be a stickler, you're looking at something around maybe a 16th and then a speckle.
Yep.
16th
and
then
we take that ruler.
This isn't the best measuring tool, is it?
Yeah.
But it's pretty small.
Yeah.
That's something that I think might be within lenience. Y'all let us know if you think that that's a fail with those 2 indications.
Then we look at this one that is a little bit deeper. This one has, you can kind of feel the tear in it. Looks like it has some actual slag in there, but we wouldn't be able to know unless we use what it's called as a nick break or an x-ray to actually see inside that.
Let us know if you guys think that these students here passed the 5G and their side bend test. We still got to do the nick breaks on the 5G as well as on the saddle. We got to figure out how we can break these things sideways.
I have an idea. I think we need a longer pry bar.
The goal of a nick break test is it looks a lot like a bend test coupon, except we actually put these nicks in the side. Now you're supposed to be using more of a hacksaw, real thin blade, but we use what we could have here on hand, which is a
16th cutoff disc.
16th inch cutoff wheel. That worked just fine. You nick both sides about a 1/4 inch, or excuse me, 1/8 inch in, so that you have a full inch on the middle. These should be about 1.5 inches. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna stick them in the table, a real solid table, and then we're gonna take a big pry bar and pry it over sideways, so that we end up actually breaking these in half and seeing all the goodies on the inside. Yeah, like that, just like that. Oh my. Be stronger, Scott.
Yes!
I'm glad you're doing this. Oh my god.
Oh my god!
Oh, we're rolling it.
Oh, you're rolling it. Let me go the other way.
Dude, you're making me tired. Almost. All right, Scott, so now we've got to bend the nick brakes for the branch. So I'm gonna think you're gonna need a bigger bar, man.
I am the bar.
Okay. Yeah, that didn't bend in the right spot. Pull it off. Yeah, that's not supposed to bend like that. Oh, man on a mission. You gonna use that on the jacks there for your cheater bar?
Yes, maybe.
I'm gonna use this.
This thing.
Here. My man's a Ninja Turtle. I'm staying way back here. All right, I had a lot of optimism, Scott. These Nick brakes. Hey, hey, shut up! I had a lot of optimism for these Nick brakes. Why do you gotta keep banging on shit? You know, if you were better with that torch, you wouldn't be so loud. I had a lot of optimism for these Nick brakes here on this 12-inch, but we moved on to that saddle, and there's just clear evidence of, hold on, let me turn on my light here. Show the proof. Oh my goodness.
Looks good.
Tally ho. Oh, scary. Ooh, so scary. Oh, I'm so scared right now. Oh, I'm so scared. It's going the other way. There you go. Break it right. All the way. Be a man.
I am woman.
Nice. Yeah, guys, if you know how to break these better, let us know. I think this is the way. Can you pull up on it like that? You're gonna need your bar again. Don't get my finger. It's just bending. We got all those Nick brakes done. Those, all the 12-inch look pretty good though.
Yeah.
All the 12-inch, the bell hole. There was one. See if I can show you guys up close. Where is it? It had a little bit of schmutz.
I think it's right in here.
A little schmutz in there. Well, I don't know. That one's.
No, that one's good.
We're all just staring there looking at the straps.
Yeah. This one's got a little something.
Let's see.
Right there.
That's not a thing.
That's not a thing?
Nah.
You're a thing.
We're looking at clear evidence of a fracture. We intentionally broke these. There might be something right there under this light. That dark spot or something that I'm looking for is stuff that might be in these Nick brakes. Remember, Nick brakes are intentionally meant to break so that we can see the internals of the weldment, make sure that there are no porosity, trap, slag, lack of fusion, any discontinuities that may be a problem later on down the road. You can see some shiny spots right where my thumbnail is. That could be an indication of something. We're looking for dark spots, shiny spots, but mostly these are all clean. How'd that branch test turn out?
That branch test is a different story.
One, you couldn't break it. You didn't have enough
I
man
didn't have enough man in me.
The ones we pulled off the throat, we couldn't bend those out.
We tried. I took a hammer to it. The only thing we didn't try was a torch, but I think that would have failed.
Yeah, but you can even see the backside of this branch test. It
wasn't fully tied in,
it's
so
not broken down
visually
all the
it
way.
wouldn't have passed.
We wouldn't have probably made it. And also, they typically don't test on this thick of pipe.
Yeah.
What do you think of that, Scott?
That one has a big old indication of slag. If you see that dark spot right here.
You don't say. That's
and
filthy.
Then we got this where it didn't even tie into that wall right in here.
Right, so you got a bunch of lack of fusion. That clear line right here shows a miss in between beads or probably into the top side of that other plate. Lots of lessons learned here at PWA today. We talked a little bit about different types of bend tests.
What to look for, what not to look for, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable.
And those preps of those bends, really take your time in making sure that they're the right width and length, because that's super important no matter what code you're going to. It's all got to be nice. It's all about taking pride in your work.
Yep, and you have to talk to the QC, the CWI, what do they want? Like we discussed, the CWI we have here at the school, he wants that whole strap prep. Me and you come from a different background. We just want where the actual weld is.
You don't need it shiny.
Yeah.
That's all it needs. That's all it's going to get.
Yep, but at the end of the day, you got to go by the inspector that you're testing for, what their quality is.
It's not about what you want, guys. It's about what that inspector wants. Try to shape and mold your characteristics of your welding abilities to whatever inspector that you're getting inspected to,
Yep.
As always, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.